Я тут 56, передаю настройку. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Are we ready to go? If I don't know what to do, I'm not having to work the board or anything. Jeez. It's hard for me just to jump in and start.
Let me start this real quick. And
Okay. We're going to do some live?
yeah, I'm
Sweet.
live on Instagram. What's up, Instagrams? I got Marty here, Shelton and Marty here from, Marty's from Talking Lead, and we're recording a podcast. This podcast will air on the 15th. I'm just going to do a bit of it live here, and just to let you guys know, first off, if you're not a podcast listener, if you're not subscribed to them, you should be.
Talking Lead, baby. Talking Lead.
Talking Lead, iTunes, and
iHeartRadio, Stitcher, any of the podcasts.
So if you're a gun dude and you listen to stuff, Marty is an alumnus. He's a good friend, and we've watched this show. I've watched this show go from a very humble beginning and with a lot of hard work from Marty. He's grown it into a really, really nice, reputable, well-known podcast. No, dude, I
appreciate that, man.
I like to tell people I was like their first fucking guy on the podcast.
Yeah,
but like,
you were. Well, you're one of the first, absolutely.
But no, it's
6.5 years we've been doing it.
Yeah, and I got this thing. Marty brought this thing from Pioneer Arms, and he was wanting me to check it out. It's made in Poland. He says they're original patent holders of the AK. I don't know about any of that stuff, but it's a clean-looking little gun. Pioneer Arms.
They have the original patents to be able to produce it.
Whatever.
They hold them.
Listen, I mean, nothing against you. I don't give a shit. Like, either the gun works or it doesn't. It's in my hand or it's not. You know?
Right.
But it's a good-looking gun. But if you guys are familiar with, like, Arsenal, it looks. If you'd have just handed me this gun, I would have thought it was an Arsenal gun. But it looks really nice, really clean. The rivets are clean. All the parts inside look sharp. Just and then it came with a U.S. Palm magazine. Now, Rob, that owned U.S. Palm is a good guy, but
actually, it doesn't come with that magazine.
Okay, well, so
but that's a good magazine.
Okay, well, here's the thing about this magazine. Great magazine. The problem I had with them is you couldn't take them apart to clean them. And when I told Rob that, he said, "Why would you do that?" I'm like, "Well, he's in the desert."
Perfect. Yeah, you want to clean that shit.
And but we got mud back here east, and so great mag. But that was always the killer for me, is you couldn't take it apart to clean it. But great, but functional magazine.
I actually got that with KUSA AK. That magazine.
I don't. Okay, are we going to start this thing, or are we already started?
We already started.
Okay,
man, you got to show some interest in my topics, man. Come on.
What? No, what? We haven't even got started yet.
We're starting. You're recording, right? Record this shit.
It's going.
This is the AK Korner Part 6, guys, or Part 9. Shit, we're doing a 12-part series, and we're giving away 12 of those AKs. James just showed you over this way a little bit.
Right there.
So this will be the 9th one, and then we'll have, 3 more after that to give away?
You're good at that math stuff.
So tune in to the Talking Lead podcast, and you could possibly be a recipient of one of these Pioneer Arms Corp AKs.
All right.
Talking Lead.
Talking Lead. I put that as the title of the broadcast, too. Talking Lead Podcast.
Talking Lead Podcast?
So hopefully
they can catch on to that.
They'll sort that out.
It's pretty easy to do. So, James.
Yes.
Like I was saying, this is a 12-part series, the AK Korner. This is my journey, my personal journey into learning more about the AK-47. I thought, what a better way to do it than to bring my listeners along with me on this. So that started, and we're in Part 9 now, and we're having James Yeager on, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Tactical Response.
Thank you for inviting me. And, we were just talking a minute ago, and I said I can talk for a long time about how the AK has found a home in the United States, if you'd like to kind of hear my version of this.
Yeah, so let's hear that.
So
how did it get to America?
So I started teaching in 1994. I actually formed a business in 1996. So from 1996 to 2002, I maybe had a handful of AKs come through class. And when they did, it was like, oh, you brought a commie gun, commie this, commie that, commie. Like the dudes that brought them, I felt sorry for them because of the other
everybody's picking on them.
Yeah, just picking on them relentlessly. And then the world changed in 2002 when the cover of a magazine had a muscled, bearded, tattooed former SF dude in Baghdad holding an AK. He was a civilian contractor.
Yeah.
And it just kind of blew people's perception of what is a civilian contractor? Is it a mercenary? But from that point forward, the AK became the cool kid gun, because if you're going to sandbox to do sandy stuff, you had to run an AK. You had to know how to run an AK. And it has literally exploded since then. And I mean, and that's a short time. We're talking 17 years ago, but like, as more advancements have been made in AKs in the last 17 than for AR-15s. And so it's been a wild ride. And so again, for near 10 years, I had a handful of AKs. Now, it's funny because we'll get a class, and most of the classes are a mix of AKs and ARs and throwing in an occasional other gun. But every once in a while, we'll have a class that's all AR-15s or all AKs, just the way the dice rolled. But you know, back in the day, the first real thing you could buy for an AK was the Ultimac rail. So everybody got an Ultimac rail.
Right.
For
It's like the only accessory available, right?
Yeah, and they work great, you know.
And like Americans, we're always wanting to change stuff.
Yeah, gotta
can't take it for what it's worth.
Right,
you know,
gotta customize it. And but anyway, just watching the popularity of the gun grow has been fantastic. And again, like the classes, you know, the undisputed champion was the AR-15, and while the AR-15 is still the champion in America, man, there's a lot of AKs in class too.
There are, and you're seeing that probably more in the past 5 years, really.
It ebbs and flows, but certainly there's been, you know, constant gains since the early 2000s when those, you know, first pictures come out of contractors with AKs and stuff.
Now, for our listeners who aren't familiar with James runs Tactical Response. It's a training outfit here in Camden, Tennessee, and they do all kinds of firearms training. They do fitness. They do. Are you into food now too? Are you doing? you doing dietary classes too?
No, I do motorcycle stuff though.
Do you really? I didn't know that. Hells yeah, that's awesome. But check them out, tacticalresponse.com. We were talking about how the AK got here. Now, do you run courses just for the AK as well? Training courses?
No, and I think those are really like unnecessary.
Right.
My class is called Fighting Rifle, and again, since the 90s, if you showed up with a gun, a rifle, I showed you how to fight with it. And that includes, I've had lever guns in class. And
Have you really?
Yeah.
People have brought lever guns?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's
cool.
I mean, there in the 90s, there were a lot of departments out west that issued lever guns.
The Marshalls.
Yeah, there was a bunch of them. That was their gun. But no, I mean, people have brought MP5s to class, and no, I don't care.
See that?
Yeah, I don't have a class for AKs. Just like I don't have a class.
There's not a specific way to train for an AK versus any other kind of rifle. It's
well, I mean,
fundamentals are fundamentals.
If we look at a microscope of it, yeah, you run the charging handle differently. But big picture is cover is still cover. You know, movement is still movement. You know, hitting a headshot, still hitting a headshot. Right. You know, so the differences are so subtle in my eyes that there's no need for a different class.
Yeah. So just as far as the mechanics of operating the gun, I mean, that's really the big difference there.
Well, look at it like this. When I have a left-handed student in class, like all of our demos, we do right hand and left hand. Mm-hmm. And so there's no difference now. When I do a demo, I do it right and left hand with an AR and an AK. Like, you know, and if somebody brings something stupid to class like a SCAR or something like that, I'd show them how to use that piece of shit too. People are like, why do you hate SCARs? I'm like, why do you play video games? That's the only reason SCAR exists, man, is video games. My grandkid said the best gun in Fortnite's a SCAR. I'm like, no, it's not. He said, yes, it is. I'm like, man, this is bullshit.
Yeah, unrealistic. Yeah, they don't know the real world. Video game fantasy. So we talked about in this 9-part series, or this 12-part series, we're part 9 now. We've talked history of the AK. Mm-hmm. I know that you guys, you and Sonny Pazikas put on a course. It was called Cold War Hot Range, mm-hmm. Which it implemented the history of not only the AR but also the AK. So you told the history behind each of the firearms, and then went out on the range and did the training with both of them.
Basically, we just hacked on each other for 2 days.
Which was awesome.
And I don't even know that we did any shooting, but everybody seemed to enjoy it. So
yeah, it was a great class, and there was shooting going on. Yeah, you guys did some training, but I thought that was an awesome way for someone who's just getting into maybe the AK to take that course, because a lot of people are always, the question is, why is the AR better than the AK, or why would you pick this one over that one? You know, there's always this versus that,
right?
Kind of.
That's the very American thing to do. You know, was one's got to be better. You know, and I try to tell people they're just different tools. You know, like they both do what they do, but they're just different tools. It's not a big deal.
It's just a matter of personal preference kind of thing.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like it's what's cool to people, you know, what's cool looking, or, you know, has no basis in any other kind of reality. I mean, they don't actually, like, they might have it for home defense, but they've never had any training. So, you know,
it's sitting there in the drawer, right, like that handgun they never used.
Right.
But that's what we harp on the show is get training. You know, if you own a firearm, you want to have your concealed carry license, you know, part of that is get training, you know, and you guys offer all kinds of training. So with the rifle in specific, talk about what a student will go through in your course. So
let's just talk about, I didn't say that there was not a difference between the two. I said there's subtle differences.
Sure.
And so if we look at the 5 things that we do to a gun, we load it, we reload it, type 1, 2, 3 malfunction. Those things change mildly because the AR-15 has a magazine that you push straight in, and the AK has a magazine that has a lever, and it's a hook on the front, and it's levered into place. So one rocks into place, one goes straight into place. And there are subtle differences in the two. Like if you're going to do a tap and rack on AR-15, you hit the bottom of the magazine, but on an AK, you hit the front of the magazine. So there are subtle differences, but you know.
Well, the mechanic, what we're talking about, the mechanics are going to be different, and you need to learn the weapon that you're going to be using. Mm-hmm. So with the AK, like you said, you know, those are the different things. If you've been running AR all your life, you're not going to be able to, you know, just like that run to.
Yeah, you can't run them the same way.
Yeah, so you need to take a training course and learn how to do that.
Well, or you can just watch a bunch of YouTube videos.
Is that what just watching videos?
That's what most people do. It's funny because people
osmosis. So
people come, you know, and they say, "Man, I've been watching your videos for years," and I come to a class and I learned a ton of stuff in the first 15 minutes. I'm like, yeah, there's only so much you can really do on a video, you know. I like the guys that think they can build rifles, build AR-15s based on YouTube videos, and then they come to class and their rifles rattle apart like old Harleys, rattle into pieces.
Little rattle boxes.
I've built 5. Well, what have you done with them? Because if it's like a ship in a bottle, well, that ship's never floated before.
Right.
You know, be aware. And luckily, there's not too much of the garage-built AK stuff going on, because that's a nightmare, because you got to, you know, mash those pins in. I was telling you at lunch, like the leaded pins are different than the other pins in the gun, and like people don't know that stuff. Man, they can make a mess.
Talk about that, because I thought that was very interesting, that I don't think we've really talked about on the show before. So.
Well, when you look at an AK, it's got these pins through it. If it's a stamp gun, yeah. It's got these pins through it, and you look at the pin. Is the pin nicely formed? Is it all the way against? Like, is there a gap between the head of the pin and the gun and things like that? And then the pins that go through the trunnion are leaded. They have a lead mixture in them. And I think it's 2%, and they do that so these are somewhat flexible. So if you put the steel rivets up here, that causes a problem.
Not going to get the flexibility that it's supposed to have.
What Americans do is they put bolts through there in the garage builds, and because we're American, we get the grade 8 bolts. You know, the hardest ones are,
right.
And then it causes catastrophe and stuff like that.
That's been one of the big questions from our listeners is, how can I tell a good quality AK, you know, from maybe one that's not as good?
Yeah, start looking at the rivets. That's the first thing on the outside before you ever consider anything is look at the rivets, because if they can't get that part right, they didn't get anything else right.
Yeah.
And there's just subtle differences. Like I tell guys with AR-15s to carry a spare bolt. And people with AKs like, oh, where do I carry a spare bolt? And I'm like, you don't. And they're like, what? Yeah, I've never seen an AK bolt broken ever in my life.
They're pretty solid.
And besides that, you can't just drop in a bolt like you can with an AR-15 because the head spacing is set with the trunnion. Like they have to move the barrel in or out to set it with that. And so it's with so it's different. That's one of the ways that it's different. But still, you don't need a spare bolt. I mean, if you break an AK bolt, just give up because it's like you broke a bowling ball. You know, it's like
you're Hercules.
Yeah, how did you do that?
You don't need a gun if you can do that, right? You're Superman. So another area of discussion that brings up a lot of questions is the ammo and ballistics.
Okay, first off, do you know why that? Do you know?
I was going to ask you that. That was going to be my question.
No, go ahead, do it. Do
it. So one of the big questions is, why is the AK ammo made with steel?
Because communism sucks. Fucking commie bastards. The thing is, a lot of the Russian ammo comes in the tins, and I always, when I go get that can opener, and before I puncture it, I tell everybody, stand back. Because look,
you never know what's going to happen.
Well, if it was mashed in there in 1967 or whatever, that's communist air in that can.
You get contaminated.
Yeah, I don't want to. I hold my breath and puncture the thing, and I'll walk outside.
Wear the hazmat suit.
Yeah, I don't want to, because you can just. One time I got a lung full.
Smells of communism.
I know. I felt so oppressed. I was like, oh my God. And then it wore off, and I was like, what happened? And it was that goddamn communist air.
Yeah, that's what it is. So when it comes to ammo, what's a good brand that people need to be looking, or qualities in ammo that they need to be looking for?
In general, what I tell people is American ammo for American guns and commie ammo for commie guns. And there's been different runs of ammo in the past that have had problems. But in general, like, most of the stuff that you can buy, it all seems to be fine.
To run, yeah.
I mean,
that's one of the beautiful things about the AK is that it just runs.
Well,
yeah.
Well, here's the thing: when an AK runs, it runs, and when it doesn't, it's got to go somewhere to get fixed. An AR, it runs, and when it doesn't, I can fix it on the back of my truck tailgate. I fixed a bunch of them there.
Yeah.
So that's another difference is when an AK doesn't run, there's nothing you can do about it. Like, it's got to go somewhere to get worked on.
So you just bring a spare. So spare parts, bring a spare AK, right?
They don't break a lot, but when they do, they're broken all the way.
They're broke. So let's go to our listeners' questions here. I'm going to go to Facebook. And let's see. Jason Edgar says, what is your earliest memory of the AK platform?
Well, first off, it's an AK or an AK rifle. Well,
we're educating.
Platform is something you stand on. A weapon platform is something like a carrier. But anyway,
I'll rephrase this question. AK rifle.
No, I just joking around. It's one of my little pet peeves. It's like one of my other pet peeves is when people pull their car up to their mailbox to check their fucking mail instead of getting out of their fucking car to check their mail. It's one of my pet peeves. I'm sorry, I got some, and that's one of them. But what the fuck was the question?
So, what is your earliest memory of the AK rifle?
Well, I'll say this. I mean, I've known AKs my whole life. I mean, seen them in movies and stuff like that. But in 1989, I bought a SKS, a 30-round mag, and a 1,440-round case of Chinese steel core ammo for $195.
Holy cow. And
I felt like I got butt fucked.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Can I say butt fuck on your podcast?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. I thought that guy's fucking ripped me off. But then while it's not an AK, that was like my first center fire, like, I put 30 rounds in it and mag fed center fire rifle. I just remember I had different relatives in the military and stuff like that, and there was never a fondness for AKs. I mean, you talk to Vietnam vets and stuff, and man, there's a bunch of old Vietnam vets that I grew up around, like in the 70s and 80s. If you'd have walked up with an AK, they'd just punched you in your mouth. Like, really? I mean, like a really...
That's the stories I've been getting from, we had Jim Fuller on the show. He was like the same way. He's like, everybody would get chastised if they showed up with an AK.
Yep, absolutely. But other than that, the other part that I told about being an instructor and they, in the 90s and how rare it was and et cetera, et cetera. The big thing for me was like got to Iraq, you go to the range and like one of the things I saw at the range, it was just so odd to me. There was a dude from a security company with a truck bed piled to the top, like just a heap of AKs on the back of this truck. And I knew that on his way there, some fell off.
Right.
I mean,
is that packed?
Yeah. And he gets them out and he puts a mag in it, and it shoots or it doesn't, and he's got two piles. So
good
he's
one's bad.
Throwing one here, throwing one there, and then when he empties the truck bed, he throws the ones that worked back into the bed of the truck and drives away, leaving the other ones that didn't work.
He just left it there
on the range. Yeah, and I was watching this happen. I was like, the fuck am I seeing here? Like,
did you want to go over there and ask him what the hell's going on?
No. You could see what was going on,
right?
And then I don't know. It's funny. And then people would ask me, "Were the AKs over there full auto?" I'm like, yes, they're full auto everywhere except here.
Except here. Yeah. So your time over there with the AKs, were you running the AR? I'm sure you were running the AR at the time.
We ran a little bit of everything at first. We didn't have ARs and stuff like that because of the arms embargo, and our company had to go through
Makes
stuff.
sense.
But, we eventually got ARs and 249s and 240s, but there for a long time we rocked AKs and RPKs, RPDs, and PKMs.
Is that kind of your first full dive into the AK? Was your time over there?
Well, let's just say that if we're talking in the context of like dating, maybe I fingered the AK before I went over, but we got in bed when I got the Baghdad.
Y'all were close. Y'all were tight. You knew them intimately. Speaking of that, which was your favorite rifle of those, the variations of those?
RPK.
The RPK?
I had one particular RPK over there that it was milled, and when you ran, I cleaned it up perfect. And when you ran it, it was like it was on ball bearings. It would shoot a fucking one hole group at 25, like one hole. I was like, this is the motherfucker right here.
That was it.
Yeah.
Now, do you have RPKs here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're not that one though.
Not that one. Would you like to have that one back?
I'd like to have that one back. Yeah, I'd love to have that one. Yeah, and even if it wasn't full auto, I mean, just
sure. Do you know where it was from?
No, I never looked. It's like, I hate to be cliche, like I only knew the sound it made when it killed people, but like I never was an AK fag. Like
yeah, you didn't get into it that much.
Like when you handed me this one, I knew I was supposed to ask. I saw a crescent on the side that probably 5,000 people could identify the crescent on the side of this AK, but I didn't know what it was.
Yeah,
but
cool.
But no, it was neat stuff. I wrote Aku Mushkila on the side of the gun, and
what does that mean?
Much trouble.
Much trouble. I like that. That's a good one. Do you have that tattooed?
No.
You should get that tattooed, man. That would be an awesome one. See, Nuffy Wrangle, he's one of our listeners, one of our top fans. He says, what AK does Mr. Yeager think is a good one to buy as an entry AK? So for somebody just getting into the AKs.
Well, that's the thing is like there's no entry AK. There's either one that I recommend or I don't. It's a pass fail. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it's pass fail. There's a bunch of good stuff being made.
You don't just get your feet wet with AKs. You just.
Well, I mean, it's like with any gun. Here's the thing. Here's my thing. Let's talk about motorcycles for a minute. There's this fucking myth in the motorcycle world that your first bike has got to be some little bitty fucking motorcycle, like a 250cc bike.
Right.
And I'm like, that's a waste of money. Buy the fucking bike you want. Now, with the caveat, I always tell people, go take a motorcycle rider class before you buy a bike. But after that, buy the bike you want. People are like, you're going to get somebody killed. You can die on a 250.
You're not going to get them killed.
You can, but you can die on a 250 just like you can a 2000.
Right.
You know? It's got that thing on the side that makes it go faster. Yeah.
You choose how fast or how much you want. Right?
So my thing is, you know, buy the gun, the right gun, the first time. And what I would tell that guy is there's a bunch of people making good stuff. I've never seen this Pioneer Arms. I'd never seen one of these. As far as I know, I might have and didn't look at it. Mm-hmm. I'd never seen one of these before. But I'm telling you, this is a good looking gun, and not that matters, but it does, because if the rivets aren't clean and the fit's not good, it's not going to work. And I don't care what people say. And so, how much have you shot a Pioneer Arms?
I have not shot a lot. I've probably put maybe 500 rounds through that one. I've got another one also.
You've shot this one?
Yeah.
Because I said when I was fucking with it earlier that nobody had ever shot this gun before.
Yeah.
It didn't look like it had been shot. I'm not calling you a liar. I'm just saying I'm impressed. It doesn't look like it.
I cleaned it.
No, but still, there's usually more wear on edges and parts and stuff like that.
Yeah. I haven't had any issues with them, so far. Everything's been great. Shot a plethora of different ammo through it. And
for you guys watching, there's a model available with a 1913 rail back here.
Yeah.
And the other one's got a stock on it and stuff.
So they got one that's called a Sporter version. It's the full size 16-inch, got the stock. So they send those in with just a 2x4 for the stock. Yeah. They do all the 922R compliance stuff.
Silly shit.
On the we did a whole episode on that too. So, our listeners are well versed in the 922R compliance now. So
this Pioneer Arms comes out of Poland, and I've never seen a gun that came from Eastern Bloc or former Eastern Bloc country that didn't work. So just with the history of the Polish AKs I have shot and the way this one looks, I think you'd be fine buying one of these.
Yeah, there you go. So, like you said, there's a variety of AKs out there. What do you personally use yourself? What's your go-to AK?
Man, I got some from everybody. I mean, I literally do.
In your pile of AKs, which one would you grab if the shit hit the fan right now?
Man, everybody is always trying to narrow me down to shit like that.
I know. Nobody paints baby in a corner. Come on.
Well, it's not like that. I mean, like I got a Barrett AR in my truck. I've got a SIG AR by my desk. I've got a Midwest Industries. Stuff again.
The one you've got's the one you use.
Pass fail. It's pass fail. I mean, I've got a bunch of AKs. I mean.
Let me ask you this. Do you prefer the synthetic over the wood?
Yeah, absolutely. The wood stocks break all the time. I mean, the laminated stocks break less, but the wood stocks break all the time.
Yeah. That'll help a little bit, I guess. That's as far as the corner will paint you in his furniture. I mean, how about that?
No, dude. I mean, listen.
What about accessories? What kind of accessories do you like to run on your AKs?
Well, a rifle should have a dot sight, if possible, a light, and a sling. And it's kind of every rifle I got that I might pick up and fight with has got those things on it.
What about brakes?
I mean, every rifle should have a brake on it, because the brake is the sacrificial lamb for the muzzle. And we do a lot of classes, like our contractor classes, where guys are doing stuff and the muzzle jams into the dirt or mud or gravel and picks up a pebble or some mud. Then when you shoot it, the brake will break into pieces or split or whatever the case may be, but that saves the barrel from getting plugged and the barrel getting split. So every muzzle should have a brake on it. And sometimes people want to know this or that, but if it's a little bitty short gun, I like the blast cans that put the sound out the front the most. I like the Midwest 2-port comps on longer guns, and but there's a lot of good brakes out there.
Yeah. So Nick McNish, that's answering your question there. Suppressors is another thing that comes out.
Yeah, those are silencers.
Those are silencers is another one that people ask about a lot. In silencing the AK-47,
I know that all the people like at Occam's Defense, if you guys want to check those guys out, if you're into AKs, you should check those guys out.
Brian Keeney, been on the show many times.
Yeah. He's a good dude. But But what the fuck were we talking about?
Alchem Defense is great for...
No, what were we talking about? What question?
Suppressors.
Oh, okay.
Silencers.
So Brian is a fan of that... it's called a Wolverine or something, or it's something that's sounds like it's got to do with...
I think it is Wolverine. I think it's Badger? It's not Badger.
No, it's like something from...
Is it dead air silence?
Yeah.
Silencers? Yeah, dead air silencers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know the guys I know that have AKs that have cans on them, that's what's on them.
I was talking to a guy from Rugged Suppressors the other day, and he was even recommending for the AK-47 the dead air silence.
Yeah, that's called Integrity.
Yeah.
Who was that? What company?
Rugged Suppressors.
Okay, I'll remember that.
Yeah.
That's called Integrity.
Yeah, he's a good dude. So suppressor-wise... short cans, long cans?
Dude, I mean, like, first off, I'd ask people why they're getting it, because that matters.
Yeah.
To look cool or whatever, I get it. I mean, I like shit that looks cool, but in general, like, the reason I want all the dudes on my team to have cans is so our shit sounds different than the other guy's shit.
So you can tell them apart.
Yeah. But cans are kind of like buying body armor. So how quiet do you want it, and how light do you want it? Because those things don't always coexist.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's your use too. Are you going to be in a vehicle? Are you going to be out running outside the vehicle because you want the compactness if you're inside?
I will tell you that if you can afford it, put a can on your home defense gun. Like that's a big thing. You light off you light off a rifle in a hallway, and you will be all the way deaf instantly.
Right. You're not going to have a chance to grab your ear pro.
Well, I mean, I have electronic ear pro on my home defense guns. Like, I have a set that's there.
Right.
But I have cans on everything. I've been in buildings when guns went off. They are so loud.
Right.
They're
especially
so loud.
An AK.
Yeah.
It's even louder. So I don't think we answered the ammo question as far as when looking for ammo, what are you looking for?
Man, buy it cheap, stack it deep. Like, my thing is no reloads. And I know people don't typically reload AK ammo, but no reloads. Another thing on ammo, people keep saying, why can't America make an AK ammo? Well, dude, you're buying stuff at scrap metal prices. And if you want to know what American AK ammo would cost, look at 300 Blackout, because it's about 125 grain bullet, about the same size case,
right?
Because we're talking about metals, brass, copper, lead, and that's about what it would cost. Is about what 300 Blackout would cost, and AK ammo should not be made out of brass. It's probably, I'm not saying it can't work, but like the AK rips that case out like Ike Turner's. And it's not gentle, and it might just, when everything's working properly, it might just rip the case head off. Like brass might be too subtle for an AK.
For an AK, yeah, makes sense. It wasn't designed for the brass round, where the AR was designed for that. Let's see. Let's go to our questions here. We've got Nickeroni. Nickeroni says, what's the most common AK malfunction you have in your classes?
The operator. I mean, it's it.
It's true,
like fucking up a reload or, something like that. But, when we did the two Cold War hot range classes, the only guns that malfunctioned were the AKs in those two classes.
Really?
Yeah. In the first class, there was 3 malfunctions, and they were all 3 AKs, and in the second class there were 2 malfunction. They were both AKs.
And were those attributed to the operator?
I can't remember, but I remember making fun of them.
You would do that anyway. It doesn't matter. Do you have any questions from our live audience?
Man, they're talking all kinds of shit.
What kind of smack are they talking?
Well, just a lot of what's up, people? A lot of people commenting on different ammos, Golden Tiger and stuff like that. And
okay, we'll read some of what they're saying they use. Golden Tiger.
What are you guys shooting out there? Golden Tiger, Wolf,
Tula.
I've shot a shitload of the Red Army Standard, and it works good. And Red Army Standard's got a bullet that's internally scored. That's supposed to open like a hollow point.
Really?
I haven't shot it in gel or anything like that, but that's That's what they're telling me.
Okay. And that's from Century Arms, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard that's pretty good ammo. I've not had a chance to try it.
I've shot a bunch of it.
What are they saying?
They're a bunch of retards.
A bunch of retards.
They're asking questions that have nothing to do with AKs.
What are they asking questions about? This is the AK Korner, guys. We're talking AKs here.
What's up, Hot Crazy Matrix? He's on here.
Oh, yeah. What's up, Big D? Tell him Lefty says hey.
Well, I think you probably heard Lefty says hey.
I got to get him back on here. It's been a minute since we've had him on. We need to talk legal stuff. People love that when he talked that last time.
Yeah, he does a pretty good job. He's pretty entertaining.
Let's see.
So, what problems do you have with home built AR-15s? Like all that shit. Like what gets me is the fact that people think they know how to build an AR-15 because other people told them that they can do it, and those people are full of shit too. I'm not even joking. Like, dude,
check your references, guys.
There is not a class that goes by that people show up with home built guns that I don't fix on the back of my truck. I'm not saying everyone, but such a large percentage makes me go, man, because one guy will go, well, you can build one. I've built 5. Yeah, you built it, and what did you do with it? Like, they're not testing these guns. They're not getting them hot.
They're just sitting there for window candy, well, eye candy.
Casey Loftus says he shoots the Fiocchi 7.62-39. I haven't even shot that yet. I haven't even tried it yet.
I think that's most of the questions I've got so far.
So Hot Crazy Matrix says best off the shelf AK. Man, I don't know.
Off the shelf.
Yeah, I don't know. Off the hook. I mean, Arsenal does a good job with their stuff. I mean, I guess. Like Pioneer Arms looks great. I don't have a history with them, but there's some Arsenal guns that I've got that have been great, and
I've never shot an Arsenal. Haven't shot one of those yet, but I've heard they're really good.
It's like an AK.
It's kind of like an AK. Yeah, the Arsenal AK. So
Hot Crazy Matrix. I guess I'm gonna have to say. As far as what I know about, I guess I'm gonna have to say Arsenal.
So, do you want to get into the Vishka?
What is your question?
I know that there was a test that you guys, I don't know the specific, I just heard that there was a test that you did and there were some issues, but I think you since talked through it.
Here's the thing is that there's a whole bunch of people that are ready to hate it no matter what you do or say, and I've tried sticking up for that company and that gun and stuff like that, and like it was just like they were mad at me and the haters were mad at me, and I was just like, for what? They're not a channel sponsor. No matter what anybody thinks, they're not a channel sponsor. And I'm like, why am I taking this beating for 2 groups of people that don't give a shit about me?
Right.
So I just bowed out of it.
I got you. Well, I've got one, and I've probably put about 500-600 rounds through it. Nothing like you guys were doing on your thing,
dude. They have a lifetime warranty, and I know if you're using something to fight for your life, and it breaks, a lifetime warranty is no good. I've made that point myself.
Yeah.
But I mean, they have to have some level of confidence in a product. They've never given anything a lifetime warranty. That company hasn't.
Really?
Yeah. And so I'm like, man, they got to have some amount of faith in it to give it a lifetime warranty.
So they put a lifetime warranty on the Vishka?
Yeah.
Nice. Speaking of the Pioneer Arms, they offer one also on theirs. Lifetime warranty.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, full warranty. Break it, send it back, they'll give you another one.
Nice.
So, yeah, enough about the Century. I like Century. I've got a couple of their other rifles. Got no issues.
One of the guys on here, Brandick, says Chinese AKs fuck the world. Yeah, man. I wish we could get them. I mean, dude, the Polytechs back in the 90s, I wish I'd had the money to buy some of those things. I mean, no, the Chinese built fantastic guns.
Oh, and by the way, I've got a Suck It that goes out to Brian. And who else was on that episode? There are top folder AKs. They exist in Korea. So,
okay.
So suck it.
All right.
Alrighty then.
They exist where?
In Korea.
North Korea?
North Korea.
Yeah, then they don't exist. You suck.
There's pictures.
You suck.
They're there.
Yeah, there's also pictures of people eating food. There are pictures of people eating food in North Korea. They're not.
But yes, it's like the unicorn. It's there. It's there. So that's another thing that people are talking about are butt stocks, the stocks. What do you think's a good folding?
The Chinese folder was really nice. It was like a shovel handle, but it was really nice. The best one is I think they call it the AK-100 stock, the fixed stock that folds. That's what I've got on my Arsenal gun. I think that's the best folder. I'll say this in general: don't get a folder unless you have to have a folder. Guys get them just to look cool. Don't put more parts on your gun. The Magpul AK folder, if you fold that thing in and out a bunch, like it'll just quit locking.
Yeah.
So
I've got that one on that rifle. Yeah.
it just has a point where the latch wears and it won't lock anymore.
Yeah.
The triangle folders are okay. That's what's on my cranks, and we're going to talk about crank offs a little.
Oh yeah.
The Russians. The Russians don't call it a crank off. The Russians call it suchka, and that means the little bitch. They think that the name Krinkov, because that's kind of a name in Russia, kind of like Smith, They think that it was probably some Afghan war soldier got killed named Krinkov who had the suchka, and they read his name tag, and that's what they called
it.
That's the only thing that the Russians can figure out how.
So they have no idea. They never called it that.
Yeah, they don't know why. They don't know why we call it that.
Because I guess we heard about it. So you're saying the sushka means little bitch?
Suchka.
Suchka means little bitch.
Yeah.
Okay. And why did they call it that? Did you get a?
It's a little bitch. That's why. It's like a fucking little chainsaw.
Because it's so loud.
Dude, I got two cranks. I fucking love those things, man. So if you had to ask me if I had to have one AK, it'd be one of my cranks.
Boom, we got him narrowed down.
not really good to fight with though, but they are my favorite though.
They're scary as hell when you hear them go off. That's for sure.
Yeah, they're badass.
People take notice.
Suchka. Trying to sound like a Russian. Suchka.
So tell us when your next rifle class is coming up and where people can go. And
no, I don't ever do that.
And do all that.
No, I don't.
You got a website for that.
I don't, but you even said it earlier. I don't ever say my website because I don't want stupid people coming to my classes.
Okay.
It's like an IQ test.
Non-stupid people go to his website.
It's like an IQ test. If they can find me, they can train with me. But if I have to give them too many breadcrumbs to get here, I don't want them here.
Well, you're talking to the leadheads right now, so they're not stupid.
That's my point. That's who I
over there. You're hiding behind. That's funny. Did they have any more questions on your Instagram?
Man, they're retarded.
Well, I think it's time that we give away a Pioneer Arms Corp Hellpup.
Okay, so
that's called a Hellpup.
Oh, Hellpup, I like it.
Yeah, so almost like Little Bitch, but it's
okay. Hold on. Attention!
Attention, class! Attention, class!
We're gonna give this thing away.
So, for your people that are watching there, they're probably asking, how do we get involved with this? Well, you just listen to the show, and it's all about participating on social media, your Facebook, your Instagram, liking, sharing, commenting, interacting with the other people. And I just go through and I look and I see who's doing the most of that each month. And then we just pick a winner from there.
So there's 3 more opportunities to win after this, right?
After this, there's 3 more that we have scheduled. There could be more.
But there's at least 3.
Yeah, there's at least 3.
Okay, so
at least 3 more.
So if you want,
we have given away a sporter also.
If you want to win one of these things, and it'll have the back.
It'll be complete.
It won't have that.
It'll have. I've got that magazine over here. I'll show which one it comes with.
But and so they go sign up for your social media stuff, and
so follow us on Instagram, Facebook, subscribe to the podcast. I mean, you got to be a listener. That's the first step you got to take. You got to listen to the podcast, because that's where I tell you what all you got to do, and that's where I announce winners. And I don't contact you. You got to contact me. So you won't know you win unless you listen to the show. And
I'll say this: if he calls out somebody's name that's one of my people, like you're on my Facebook page and stuff like that, I'll throw in a fighting rifle class.
Nice. There you go. And I don't know if these people are your followers or not. So we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. So I've got it narrowed down to 2, and it's Disruptive Tactic Inc. and Tandem Dooley. And I'm going to pick Let's see. We got to do this randomly. What's a good random way to do this?
Let me just pick from their names. Let's see. What were the names again?
Tandem Dooley.
Okay.
And Disruptive Tactic Inc.
Yeah. Disruptive Tactic, he should leave the Inc. off, because you see people do it all the time. They'll say such and such LLC or whatever. You don't use that as your official title. Right. So that guy, so we should
He's out. So we go with Tandem Dooley?
Tandem Dooley. And even though that's pretty dumb, it's not as dumb as...
I think that's because it's him and his wife. Tandem, there's two. I don't know. Anywho. So, Mr. Dooley, per James Yeager, you are the winner of the next Pioneer Arms Corp AK Hellpup. So get in touch with me. Send me an email, talkinglead@gmail.com, and we'll get Schwell to hook you up with that.
All right, Disruptive Tactics Inc.
You still got a chance.
If you'll take the ink off, I'll give you a fighting pistol class.
Sweet.
Everybody's a winner.
I bet he'd be willing to do that too.
It's just small business advice, man.
All right, exactly. All right, guys. So, great episode, man. Thank you so much. I mean, it's full of information. Was there anything that you wanted to get out to our listeners that maybe we didn't cover? Something important about the AK, maybe?
I'm going to just say this. Buying guitars doesn't make you a musician. If you've got a rifle, you don't know how to fight with it until somebody else tells you can fight with it. Go get some training. You don't have to train with me, but go get some training. And you don't realize how much more you will love that gun when you and that gun share an experience like a real training class.
And one other thing I forgot, and we'll give this to one of you. Are you still on here?
No.
Okay. We'll go back and randomly pick somebody. Occam Defense is giving away some Occam Defense swag as well. And we'll let James pick a winner for that from one of his crew.
So how do I do that?
You just, the people that were on there, who do you remember that was on there?
I don't remember. I turned it off.
Dana was on there.
Okay, Hot Crazy Matrix.
Hot Crazy Matrix. You are the winner of whatever Brian is giving away. I don't know what he's giving away.
So we don't know anything. You could be getting a case of the clap.
You could be getting a copy of your own video from Brian. I think it's a banner, some kind of big Occam Defense banner or something like that. So Dana, I'll get in touch with you because you probably don't listen to the show. We'll make sure you get that banner. But James, thank you so much for taking the time to be on.
Yeah, man.
The Talking Lead AK Korner, presented by Pioneer Arms Corp, coming to you once a month. This is part 9, so we only got 3 more left. 3 more opportunities to win an AK and maybe some other shit. Somebody won Disruptive Tactic Inc. If you change your name, you're going to get a course from James. So shoot me an email, and we'll try to make that happen. James, until next time.
Yeah, man. It was fun.
Guys, go watch his... well, you don't have YouTube. You still doing YouTube? Let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah, I'm on YouTube, man. What the hell's wrong with you?
Well, you started your own thing, man.
Yeah, I know.
The LiberTV.
I'm all over the fucking place.
So talk about LiberTV. Give it a plug.
Nope.
IT guy, give it a plug.
Nope. If they're too stupid to find my shit, I don't want them on it. Nope. Nope.
So you go to LiberTV, look it up. That's James's new video thing he does. And he's got a podcast too. So you want to listen to his podcast, it's Tactical Response, and let him know you're Leadhead. That's him slapping the Hellpup back together. All right, guys, until next episode.